people who want to know what is the Keith Andrew Network, the whole point of my talk show is to show you that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities, and never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be, so prove them and still amount to something.
Hi, I'm Rob Springer with rsmedia.group, and I hope you enjoy my interview on the Keith Andrew Network.
You are an owner and creator of your own company. So the first question I want to ask you is what attracted you to begin your career as an actor and to start your own company?
I was a child, and I knew from the time I was making movie sets and video cameras, film cameras with my Lego, that I needed to be involved in behind the camera, maybe in front of the camera, something with the camera. And as time went on, and I'm from New York, as time went on, I made that trip down to Manhattan from the suburbs and lived there and went to television school at a place called Center for the Media Arts, which was on West 26th Street. And I learned a lot in a very abbreviated amount of time. And I jumped right in from there to CBS Sports, working at the U.S. Open. And then I went to the Broadcast Center over on West 57th Street there in Manhattan and did a stint there. And then to Times Square, where I worked in an acting school for many years. I was running the cameras, running their studios. It was called Collier Casting Center. It was in the Actors Equity Building at 46th and Broadway there in Times Square. And this is many years ago, and I caught the bug of acting. We had a lot of people coming through, and we also had a casting department where we would send our students to different auditions, and many of them would book things. And I observed that happening, and I thought to myself, that looks like fun. I know I'm a production guy, but I want to get myself in front of the camera at some point. And I did. Then I took a break of many years and went deep into production, having various production companies, sometimes selling them, sometimes evolving them. And it leads me to where I am today, which is down south. I'm near Greenville, South Carolina, just outside of Atlanta and Charlotte. And I have a production company called RS Media. And it is a busy company. We travel a lot. Some of our work is in our region here, and a lot of it is across the country. In fact, tomorrow we're doing a shoot out in Las Vegas. We're flying out there, and it's a shoot on Sunday and Monday. So that's an abbreviated rendition of my entire life, and the 360 that I am actively involved in, meaning both in front of that camera and behind the camera. And it's a good thing to know both ends of that business.
No, absolutely. And you bring up a good point. And the reason I asked you off the air, but I'm going to ask you on the air, it will be an honor and a privilege to have you on June 8th. That's right, June 8th. 5 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be 5 to 7. Of course, it's not online. It's going to be 5 to 7. It's going to be 2 hours, 2.5 hours. It's going to be hearing my speech, taking pictures. Of course, you get a free dinner. It's going to be a great event. 10 years of the Keith Andrew Network. Everyone who I interviewed, hopefully, it would be nice to have 1,000 people. But realistically, I invited everyone from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Washington, Pennsylvania. I don't know, that's like 5 states already. Now, do I want people from Canada, England, Los Angeles? Yes, of course. But then they're like, well, Keith, you have to pay for my luxury. And I'm like, you're getting a free dinner. If I really like you, I could pay for a hotel room. a hotel room with benefits. But yeah, I'm not made of money. It's kind of like you're coming to talk to me and support me. You're getting a free dinner out of it, and we're taking pictures for my book. But anyway, it's January 8th. It starts at 5, ends at 7. It's going to be in Highland Mills, New York. It's a Rushmore Estate. It's really nice. It's huge. It's wonderful. It's a very fancy place. Just trying to make you laugh. I do horrible impressions. You can call me the horrible impression guy. But the point is, it's going to be a special event. Everyone who I interviewed will get up, they can do a little speech, how I made an impression on them. I hope I'm making a good impression on you. But I do hope you can make it. You're invited. If you can't, you can always do a video shout out and be fan of the day. But the question that caught my interest is you have your very own company. And what, it's the same exact question, what attracted you to start it?
I had a production company many years ago when I moved down south, and I had it for a decade. And it was in a resort area of South Carolina where there was a very high end production company and a very low end production company. So I kind of claimed the middle ground, doing everything from television commercials to weddings and local TV ads and regional TV ads. And I did that for a great many years. And I was able to sell that company and evolve my career into a position where I was creating a new media production department for a large communications company. And I started a department. They bought out my company. I was able to hire editors, and that was correct for me at that time. My production company lasted for 10 years. Then I had a 10-year stint creating this department and running it for this large communications company. Then I rolled the dice and I said, I want to be in an area that is busier. And I left and found my way up to the upstate of South Carolina, where I worked for a good number of years for a ad agency. And after those years passed, not too long ago, I had the itch to start my own company again. And that's where I sit today, running the RS Media Group, which you could find us at rsmedia.group, rsmedia.group. And it's been something that is a calling of mine to be independent, to make my boss any client that I'm working with, as opposed to just one boss, as opposed to being in an office. For me, this free-spirited nature of entrepreneurism is something that I craved, and I'm back in that game again with my own production company. And we have an awesome team of people that I work with across the country.
And the next question I want to ask you is what services do you provide? How can people work with you? And I will save the third one, but the big ones is what services do you provide and how can people work with you?
We are a diverse media content creation company, and our number one service is doing promotional content for medium size and large size companies. I've made it a point, as the season just changed, to focus a little bit more on smaller companies. So I guess you could say our biggest service, the thing that keeps us very much focused, is promotion for businesses of all sizes. We also have a division that creates podcasts, both for ourselves and for others. And we do filmmaking. We have 2 independent films that are in pre-production right now. And we also do corporate work where we'll cover events and live streaming and things along those lines. So it's whatever a content creation company can do. Those are the things that we do.
You gave me some great ideas. We can definitely talk about it off the air. And the next one I want to ask you is the big elephant in the room. besides me, obviously, thank you, have you worked with people with disabilities? And for people with learning disabilities who want to work with you and follow in your footsteps, how do they go about it?
Always a good question, Keith. We do work with folks with disabilities. One of my passion projects, and it's been that for a good number of years now, is working with a school, the state school for the deaf and the blind down here in South Carolina. And I know every state has an organization, an institution that is a school for deaf and blind. And we do very, very regular content where we go in there and work with students and teachers and administration to get the word out, to raise funds, and to really amplify the message that they're there, and letting parents know that there is a place for those two disabilities for their children to go. And it's a state run facility, and it doesn't cost anything. So that's some work I do with an organization that is focused on disabilities. If I love talking about the work I do. I love talking about the business of production and content creation and podcasts. I love consulting and guiding people. It's not even anything. It's a charge that I have for anyone, businesses, large and small, any type of folks. I like to guide and help them learn about the things that I do. And there are times when I am hiring all around the country. I have a gentleman we just work a lot with out of the Phoenix area, and he came in from the West Coast, from California, to work with us for a good number of days on a job. I need some folks in New York, and who am I needing? Who am I looking for? It kind of depends on the job. Like I said, we work a lot around the country, and my number one need is directors of photography, folks that run a video camera. That's a big one for me. Also, makeup people, hair people, production assistants. Some of my jobs are smaller, meaning it's a crew of 4 people or so. Sometimes they're larger, where we'll have 6, 8, 10 people. So for me, I have anchor crew in different parts of the country, but that doesn't mean that I'm not always looking to have the best in any region. And that includes anybody, as long as they're skilled and that they have a passion for the work they do. Talk to me. And you can find my contact information. Once again, the best place to find it is the website, and that's rsmedia.group. And there you'll see links to my Facebook and Instagram and email and contact forms. So there's a lot of ways you could reach out to me, but it all kind of comes together at rsmedia.group.
And I'm available to start tomorrow.
That's awesome, Keith. By the way, June 8th is your event, right?
Well, well, about that, the actual date is June 10th.
June 10th. Okay.
But June 8th, if they're like, we can't have it on Friday. And so because there's a way like, if I started in July, that would be great. June, for some reason, it's when people are getting married. And I'm like, you can't be here Friday because it's booked for a marriage. Saturday, they're getting married. Sunday, they're getting married. What's available? What up? Hey, you want to do it on a Wednesday or Thursday? All right. If I have to swallow it, Thursday. And I'm like, what time? 5. All right. People work. My dad's not going to be there because he has to work. I'm like, fine. You know what? I will do it. This just means a lot to me. 10 years. If I have to swallow it, I will. But yes, it's officially June 10th. There will be a online event on June 10th, but in person, it's June 8th at 5 o'clock. And
Got
go
it.
ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, that's good to know. I just wanted to make sure I had the details correct, and I didn't. Now I do. But I have one question that gnaws at me, and you're hyping this free meal of yours. I want to know, what would this free meal be? What is it? Is it an option? Is it a fish? Is it it's steak, lobster? What is it exactly, Keith? Let the
Well,
audience know.
well, thank God for credit cards. I will work it off and I pay it back. And maybe you can interview me, but that's an idea. But to answer
Mhm.
your question, dinner will be spaghetti, meatballs, wraps,
Nice.
mostly Italian food.
I like
It's
that.
got to be really nice. It's from K and J's Deli. I heard good things. They make delicious food. You will like it. You won't get indigestion, but it's a great Italian food that you can get anywhere. But especially, I'm like, okay, if you're gonna put me on the hot seat, I'm like,
Huh.
what is it that won't break my budget? Steak will
Mm,
put me in the
mm.
poorhouse, and I don't like killing animals. I mean, I like a good hamburger, but I don't like steaks. Too chewy. But and I'm like, oh, what about fish? Someone may have a fish allergy. Okay, let's just make it simple.
Mm.
Spaghetti and meatballs and wraps. I'm like, hey, let's do an Italian theme. So it's kind of like it's a free dinner. I mean, who says no to a free dinner? You don't even have to pay for it.
Well, who doesn't like spaghetti, meatballs, and or wraps? There's something wrong with you if you don't. And I'll just say it. I know you don't probably want to say it, so I'm here to say it. There's something wrong with you if you're not liking the food that the Andrew Network, the Keith Andrew Network, is going to be serving up on June 10.
No, you're right. Because if you get anything, if you say you're getting burgers and hot dogs and steak, you're gonna offend people who are vegan.
Right.
And then they're not gonna be there. And then you have freaking PETA standing outside saying, "Boycott Keith Andrew. He eats meat." If
We
you
don't
get
want that.
nada, and if you get fish, God forbid someone has a fish allergy.
Right.
So it's better to play safe, Femi. And I talk with my hands too, but maybe I am a
Same.
little Italian, but
Same.
hey, the same
Hey,
thing about the Key Fancy Network. We like to have fun. You know, why do people like to say it's about disabilities? And of course, I learn at a slower pace. I fall under the spectrum of being retarded. But look at 10 years, and thanks to you, 1,021 episodes.
wow.
I did that for myself, but that's not about me. This is about you. Question I want to ask you is, what is your biggest project you're working on right now?
The biggest one right now. Um, it oh, it's a great one. It's so many. I called a passion project of mine. Kind of all my jobs are passion projects, and I guess that's one of the great luxuries of being able to work for yourself, have your own company. Uh, a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, a couple came in, and the wife had written a children's book called Annabelle the Colorful Giraffe. And there was one book, and they wanted to promote that book. And this was when I was working at an ad agency. I took the call. I brought the couple in, and the entire staff, my boss, our team, put together an ad campaign to push Annabelle the Giraffe. We branded a name on her and her friends, the Co-Glow Amigos, and and there's a talking elephant. There's Gazzy the Gazelle. There's a number of different characters, and it's kind of for children and like kind of up to third grade or so. And we took on this book project, and for me, I realized we need to animate this character that's a still form in a book. So long story short, about 2 years later, where we sit right now, down here in South Carolina, educational TV, the PBS channel here in South Carolina, there is a series called Annabelle, and it is about this colorful giraffe and her friends, and they go on adventures. They go camping, they go to the dentist, they go to school and learn how to embrace life and to be their best. Always be your best is what the motto of Annabelle animation is. And I was just out in Arkansas. We took a 1-day flight to Arkansas, me and the team that are pitching Annabelle to different states, different educational systems, and it's gaining momentum. So we have this animated cartoon that is designed to help children be their best. And it's the biggest project right now. There are other projects that I truly enjoy for corporations, and I'm doing some work out at the National Association of Broadcasters in Las Vegas in 2 days. And I'll be on camera and I'll be interviewing folks for a sponsor out there. So we're all around the place. We're all over the country. And the biggest project, the one that means most to me right now, for sure, is the Annabelle, the giraffe children's cartoon project. It's just very cool. I mean, how many folks get to conceive and create and then sell, a children's animated series that really makes a difference to the kids that watch it. I'm very fortunate to be in that position.
No, you're absolutely right. And actually, that's the next question I want to ask you is what is the biggest obstacle about building an audience? I'm out, well, for an example, you're talking about this and you want to cater to the kid market, but do you just want to cater just to the kids or do you want to cater to all likes, all different likes?
That's a great question. Of course, we want to cater and target the message and that we're out there with this animation to parents. So it's not just children. Of course, it's going to be parents that are able to show their children this animation that really has a lot of elements of learning and school curriculum. In fact, we're working with a number of school systems to match the curriculum that's shown by the children in different situations in the cartoon to match that to curriculum that school systems have in their state. So for us, the biggest challenge to get an audience is, it's always going to be these days for us getting in front of the right people, working with connections, and social media, something you know a whole lot about, Keith. Social media in itself is a challenge. Learning the algorithms of the best times to post, the ways to gain the biggest audience, and how to keep that consistent is a challenge that's almost daily. It never is something that stays the same. The algorithms for Facebook and Instagram are always changing, for Google, for YouTube. There are some core rules that must be followed, and following those rules and understanding them and being consistent and making sure your audience, just like what you do with the Keith Andrew Network, making sure your audience knows you're going to be there from week to week, from day to day, that it's not something that just happens once in a while. If you want to build expectations of your audience and you want to deliver on those expectations, and that's always for me these days on a number of projects, the biggest part of the biggest challenge, the biggest part of building an audience is certainly social media, and respecting it, understanding it, and treating it correctly and feeding it. And that's the biggest challenge right now on projects that I'm working with.
No, you're right. And if you give me too much credit, but there are certain amount, and I have there's an index card of questions. Anyone wants to know why am I flinging this around? But it's certain times. So if I remember correctly, there you have to do like 5 posts a day, and it's probably like 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and probably one before you go to sleep. And you have to engage. So you have to do hashtags. For an example, do you have a hashtag?
My hashtag is hashtag Rob Springer, ROBSPRINGER. Rob Springer is the thing I tag most of my posts with. An RS Media Group as well, a hashtag RS Media Group, and that hashtag being on Instagram and Facebook primarily.
And you mentioned algorithms. You, especially on YouTube, whatever videos that you watch, make sure you're watching the right ones because the I'm gonna butcher the word, but hey, it's okay. I have a disability. The algorithm will say, "Hey, you watch this and you watch that." For an example, I watch WWE. I watch professional wrestling. I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. I will always be a Dragon Ball fan. So when I go on YouTube on my account, they're gonna always show me things that I like. I'm a big fan of Disney, so they're gonna show me Disney stuff.
Right.
If you someone for an example like I don't know, conspiracy theories or Fox News, then they're only gonna show you, that type of thing. So the algorithm, it's good if you want it to work for you. But if you're just doing it, throw crap against the wall, it will show you things like, why am I even seeing this? You know what I mean?
Absolutely correct. Yes, it learns you, it studies you. YouTube and these other social media platforms, they know you too well. They may even know you more than you know yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Now I have a couple questions for you off the air. But my
Sure.
last question to you, I want you to be brutally honest.
Right.
No cards up my sleeve. But that being said, when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what made you say yes? How do you feel now? And would you recommend it to other people? Being brutally honest.
Sure. Two things that come to mind. Your persistence. You were able to identify something you like, someone you like that you wanted to get a message from, and then the way you pursued that was very direct and well measured. And I'm a fan of proper persistence, well balanced persistence, and when as you said, brutally honest, the word disability that gains some points for me. I want to make myself available to as many folks as possible and not be exclusionary and sharing information and knowledge. And I took a look at your social media, Keith, and I thought, yeah, I mean, there's not even much to consider here. Let me jump on in and see if we could get going with an interview. I was able to do everything I've ever wanted to do in life, the things that I pictured and envisioned and sort of fantasized about as a child and as I was a teenager and going through school, which I did not like. I knew what I wanted to do ultimately, and I was able to do that. I am able to do that. It's like living the dream, a very overused cliche, but it is something that most can achieve if you have a clear focus on what it is you want to do. And if anybody has questions about the world of media, content creation, working in media, any simple or complex questions, like I said earlier, I'm always willing to talk, schedule permitting, text and such. If people need answers, I'm always a big sharer of information and knowledge. And although I gave my website, I'll just give it one more time. So if anyone has these kind of questions, please reach out. It's rsmedia.group. And for those that don't want to fish through a website, you can reach me at videopromo@gmail.com, videopromo@gmail.com as an email address. And that's my message to the audience. If I can help in any way with the things that I do and the things that are my profession, let me know. I'd be glad to. And if anyone needs any work in the world of media content creation, be it social media or live streaming or whatnot, we work around the country for a great rate with the best people in the country. So that's something I'm extremely proud of. So thank you.
Hey kid,